Good afternoon. It is September 20th, 2021, and today we had a pretty wild day. We had a downtrend. Let's see, we had a downtrend, and that's pretty much what it was. Let's see if this does anything for us. Yeah, it looks like that could be the larger channel right there. So this could be the larger channel. I don't think you would have had that until much later in the day, so that's not going to help you much. Pretty good volatility, and I think there were plenty of entries in here that you could have had. I probably missed some, so there's a lot to go through, so I don't want to waste any time. Let's get started. So it all started yesterday when market opened, and we get this very nice leg down. And that flattens. I had an interruption. So we moved into this flatter channel. There is a chance that the lows are like that. And yeah, the midline works fine right there like that. So we moved into this flatter channel in the overnight, but we had a break right here. And so 5 o'clock came in, it looks like around here. This might be a little before 5 o'clock because I was up early. But you can see we have, it looks like one leg of correction. Oh, that's a really good entry right there. One leg of correction, and then second leg of correction, and then we get that failure and just drops. But that's too early. We are not in by then. So let's see. So if you were up a little early, you do get this second entry. I actually went short on the engulfing bar because of how far away from the EMA we were. But that does look like a second entry, and it's off the trend line. Even though we had a break of that, I guess that prices might be responding to it still. So that's aggressive. The better entry is this lower high. It looks like a first failed second entry long. Yeah, so let's zoom in because that's really just a lower high, I'm thinking. But it bounces off the EMA, and this trend has been so strong down. That's the only reason I'm confident in taking this. But yeah, so we get this one leg, looks like two legs down, and prices start to correct a little bit. We get the first entry, it breaks higher. Second entry, I like that. Although I will say this looks like one leg of correction, so we should be expecting another leg. So, and that turns out to be the case. We get this second leg, but I do like this. Triggered all the longs, and then you go short here. I wonder. We'll take a look later where I went short on that, but I like that. Then we get that second leg of correction. We get a first failed second entry long. This is aggressive though because it looks like this might have been the failure right here, and if that is the case, we get one leg. This kind of looks like the second leg, and you'd be going into the lows. So that's aggressive, and really, this turns out to be probably one leg, and this is the second leg here, and you get a second entry short. Kind of looks like might be technically a third entry, but it looks really more like a second entry. I marked that aggressive. It's a little congested. So this really is a leg up of correction that we're seeing here, but I'm still going short just because the bias was so hard down. And here you can see this looks like clearly this is a level of resistance here. We get this lower high here, boom. We come back up, boom, come back in. Second entry short. I like that entry. Off the important level of resistance. This looks like a double top too, so you could look at it as a first failed second entry long. So I do like that. We get a first entry, second entry. It becomes congestive here. Some people probably went short here, so I don't think that's a good idea just because it's not like here, this is a level of congestion and the bias is down. But up here, we don't know if prices are going to continue higher. Whereas here, we knew prices might bounce. You get a first entry, failed second entry long. I like that, even though this looks like, look, the midline is prices are responding to the midline, I'm still liking shorts because this is not a strong move up just yet. Let's see. Well, maybe it is 41. We've moved up 15 points at this point, but these moves down were just so large that I'm still looking for shorts, to be honest. So again, we form this a level of a range, and this is a level of resistance. So we go down, we come up here, bounce once, bounce a second time, first, second. You might look at this as a failure, actually. I'll just put a green arrow, but that looks pretty good to me. That looks pretty darn good to me. I like that. But here we get a first, second entry, and it's right off that. I was digging that. And then again, we get a first, second entry, and now it looks like, you know, we're making a lower low off of this level of resistance. So I like that a lot. And that forms this downward channel that breaks this channel of correction. You probably got people treating this as like a failed second entry short right here. So they're piling up the longs, and then you get this signal bar right here. They're piling up the longs. So this is just a lower high off of that trend line, but that is a good entry, and I think that probably would get you a runner. Let's see. If you entered on the failure, or well, that's just a lower high. So if you entered 59, oh no, you would have scalped out right there, and if it came back to break even, would have got you. So, and this stuff is just within the channel, so I don't think you can enter on any of this. We get a leg down, and then first failed second entry long, but we don't know. I don't know. You might go short there. You might. It's just a little congestive, and you're going into the lows as well, so that might keep you out of that. This did look like a pretty strong move down, though. And that could be a channel, too. Looks like a channel to me. So we get a break of that. One leg, two legs of correction. This is real crazy stuff right here. You might even... The only reason I'd be hesitant to go short here is just because we haven't made it to these highs. So maybe wait a little bit and you get a first... Nope. Make a new high here. We also broke this channel. So I don't think you can enter on anything in here. Make this new high first, failed second entry long. That's a great setup. I really like that. Because we just had a break of this downward channel. The bias has been down all night. We just had a break of this downward channel. So they're trapping all these longs, thinking this is a second entry long. And look at that. It's really just a perfect failure. So you get that leg down. I'll delete that. And then we get this first. Okay, this is actually not. This is just an aggressive first entry, but it looks like. Oh, okay. The reason I marked this is because I actually got trapped going short too soon. So you get one leg of correction. Okay, comes back, and then I was entering short on a second entry, but that doesn't look like a second leg of correction, and this does. So this is the true second entry, I think, and that's why it worked so well. But it's not. Look, it's technically a third entry, first, second, third, and it's an engulfing bar. That's a great entry. So if you spot all that, I think you can go short there. And then you realize that we are bouncing off that opening price. So you get a first entry, second entry right there. I go short there. I like that. But then it looked like this might be a level of resistance, these highs. So we bounce there, and this is a new low. So it's a first, second entry short. And yeah, that's looking like a range, but it's also a lower high off of this level of resistance. So that's why I like that. And this right here, when you're watching things live, you can spot like mini failures, but you can't go short on them just because you have to follow the rules. And this looked like one of those failures. First entry, this one was trying to go higher, but it couldn't. So when that failed, I figured if you went short on the engulfing bar, maybe you would be good for a scalp. But you can't do that because you're not following the rules. So if you're patient, boom, second later, a minute later, you get a true failure, and that gives you a nice scalp. And that comes back up, hits this trend line, and you get a first entry. That's a new high, so you get a first entry, failed second entry. This is too far from the EMA, so I didn't want to take it, but that is a failure. And this just looked like, this is a first entry right here, but that looks like two legs of correction, 1, 2. But it's going into the lows, and it's a first entry, so I probably wouldn't suggest it, but it's just something I saw when I was watching it live. And this turned out to be a really strong move down, and you get I looked at this as a new, let's see. Oh, this is like a double top right here. Even though this isn't a new high, I looked at this as like a double top, so you get a first entry, second entry, failure, and then you get a lower high. But those are aggressive. They're far from the EMA. But this really strong trend right here. So here, this looks like what I got trapped on earlier. So you get one leg of correction. You get first entry, second entry. But that doesn't look like two legs of correction. So I don't think I should have taken that. I took it. It worked. But I don't think you should have taken that. First entry, second entry right here. So that's the real second entry, I think, or the real place to enter, but we don't have it set up. And here, since we bounced here, I really like this setup. First entry, second entry, crazy bearish bar. I really like that, and it worked out for a scalp. And I think I entered on the engulfing bar here. I'm not too sure. That's, let's see, 27, 25. So even if I didn't, you'd be good. Yeah, that's enough for a scalp. But again, that kind of looks like one leg of correction. So this, the second leg, maybe. And then you do get a first entry, failed second entry. So that could be, I could have misread that. That's a really good failure right there. Let's say this is a new high because it kind of looks like it. First failure right here. Big failure right there. I don't think you can take anything in here, way too far from the EMA. Then we get this leg of correction. I'm not going long in that just because bias has been extremely down all day. So let's see. There's so much price action in here. We make this like triple top, and so really this is just a lower high. But I like that entry. I like that signal bar. I like everything about this. So here you get a break, one leg up, two legs up to a new high. So, well, we don't make a new high, but for that reason, first entry, second entry short. I guess you're not taking second entry shorts. I think you should probably wait for a failure. So that's what I put this square there for, but to look at this, but I don't know. That's a first entry, second entry. Okay, so that's the failed second entry long, but look, that's one tick higher. I think this is probably the failure right here. And then you get this lower high, so maybe you can enter on that. And if you're resetting the count, because that looks like a triple top, first entry, looks like that's a failure right there, failed second entry long. That's way too far down, though, I feel like. Congestion, make a leg down, get a break. And new low right here. So you get a first entry, second entry. Look at that super bearish bar. I don't think you can go on the engulfing bar, but I also like that this was a level of resistance. So I took that. I think I took that. Here we get a first entry, second entry at the same level. I didn't like the signal bar, but that's why I marked it aggressive. And then we form this trend. And this, I just wanted to mark this because you can see that that's a second entry. Look, if these are matching lows, let's say, count resets, boom, first entry, second entry off that trend line too. So I'm not marking it because it's not a true second entry, but you can see that, and I just wanted to see that for myself too. Then we have this big move up. I don't know if there's anything in here. I don't like it just because this looks like a failed second entry to me, failed second entry short. I don't like it just because this is too crazy, but this is a really strong move. You might go short in there. Or I mean long, excuse me. Let's talk about my trades. I'll try and be quick. This video is already extremely long. Of course, I came in, I started watching the chart, and I saw this leg, and I just wanted to sit at the chart yesterday on a Sunday. I should have learned my lesson last week. I made a terrible decision last week, but I made a terrible decision again this week, and I went short on a first entry, and I paid for it. I got stopped out. And look, if you just wait for a second entry, you get a scalp. So be patient. Do whatever it takes to be patient. Here we come in, first entry, second entry. This is also a bit aggressive, but it works out. It gets you a scalp. I'm not really upset about that, especially since we're in a downtrend. Here, this is a terrible entry. There's no reason to go short on a first entry here. First, I think I looked at it as a failure, maybe. First entry, second entry. But this is congestive, too congestive for a failure. Here, I'm taking a first entry short. Why? I have no idea why. And if I was patient, you get an entry right after it. First entry, second entry short. Great entry right there. Be patient. That's all you got to do is be patient, and the market will give you opportunities. Okay, I take this failure. It's very aggressive. I think the failure really happened right here, and this is a leg down, and this is a leg down. So you're entering into the bottom of the leg. Just wait for a pullback and a second entry short or something. Way too many entries today, by the way, so get ready. First entry, second entry, I like that. I like that entry a lot. First entry, yeah, I went short here. That just looks like one leg of correction. Wait for the second leg. First entry, second entry, I like that. I like that entry a lot. Lower high, another lower high. That's a first failed second entry long. I like that. I like that move a lot. That entry a lot. Here we get a first entry, second entry. This looks like where I got trapped earlier, so I'm not crazy about this. Or wait, no, I think I got filled. This looks like I got lucky here, and I think I tested my luck here or something. Anyway, this is lucky because look, this looks like one leg of correction. So I don't like this entry, but it works out. And I don't know what I was thinking here. I got out at break even here, thank God. I'm looking at like, oh, first entry, a lower high, and this is a second entry, but that's not, you can't look at it that way. Just follow the rules. Here you get a first entry, second entry. Great signal bar. Boom. You hit your target. Just follow the rules. That's all you got to do. Alright, and then those are all the entries. I took a ton of entries today. Try not to take that many entries. Alright, I hope everyone has a great day, and I'll be back to do it tomorrow.